the entertainment industry in general in 2023 struggled mightily. There were a few examples, a couple of different industries that performed relatively well, but in general, 2023 was a massive disaster. I'd like to highlight a couple of examples as to if anybody's listening. If anybody would like to go ahead and course correct to make sure that 2024 and beyond aren't as abysmal as 2023 was, well, hey, there's some very obvious examples, very easy lessons to learn, and here's a couple of them. I'll give them to you for free. And first and foremost, you got this Wonka film. This Wonka film, which outside of its initial release and a couple of people going, yeah, it's not really for me, but I can kind of see why it's popular. It's because it's pointed at, get this one, a specific audience. And when Hollywood, and that's what we'll focus on right here, decides to hone in on that, and even still, just with my tertiary knowledge with what's going on in video games, the ones that made the most impact in that genre were the ones that were focused on delivering a specific experience to its customer base. And that's what we're finding out here, specifically with Wonka. Given the fact that it is probably performing well better than expectations, I didn't anticipate this to do as well as it did. Actually, I really didn't have big, lofty aspirations for this. I remember when it was first announced going, do we really need a Wonka prequel? But in its delivery, being just a family-focused film with a timeless character, I guess a updated non-Tim Burton, non-wonky version of Wonka, I guess that's what people wanted. Because it would be one thing. It would be one thing if this was just, okay, it got released during the holiday season, it got released across a Christmas break, and people, given the fact they didn't really have much to do, and they could have the entire family together go to a certain thing, would have stopped racking up the W's, but that's just clearly not the case, so it's clearly resonating, and there's a lesson to be learned from that. Timothy Chalamet's Wonka hits a sweet box office milestone with $500 million globally. Wonka has crossed the sweet box office milestone. The fantasy musical starring Timothy Chalamet as an eccentric chocolatier passed $500 million in a global box office sales. After 5 weeks on the big screen, Wonka has generated $176.2 million domestically and $329.1 million internationally, bringing its global tally to $505.3 million. I think it ended up winning this long weekend, at least domestically, right? Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. Up here in Canada, we have to wait until February with Family Day in order to get our first long weekend of the year, but you guys in the States, you get one because racism and whatever. Warner Brothers backed the film, which cost $125 million, has proven to be a worthy revisit to the world of pure imagination. $125 million, now making $505. Yeah, it's made back its money. And now it's turned to profit. Congratulations. Not a ton of other Warner projects in 2023 and a ton of other big budget projects over that $100 million mark. I thought there was something. That we talked about. It was something like of the 10 or 12 $100 million budgets, $100+ million budgets in 2023. Only 2 of them ended up turning a profit, a slight profit at that. I guess it would have been a few more than that because you had Barbie and Oppenheimer. I have to go back and refine the stat, but there was a staggering number of bombs, which was well documented, but we need not tread over well-worn ground this time around. Chalamet's star power, having endeared himself to moviegoers through blockbusters Dune, which, yeah, that one will be coming out in March, I do believe, part 2. That'll be interesting to see. And indies, Call Me By Your Name, Lady Bird, yes, has played a part in the triumph of Wonka. Well, I kind of think that it's more the character, but then having, accurate casting, it's actually a couple of things going for it this time around. Imagine that, man. You didn't race swap a character. You didn't make it more edgy, okay? You didn't try to appeal to an audience that wouldn't be receptive for a Willy Wonka origin story. You just simply made a story. You made a movie for an audience that wanted it, and you ended up reaping the benefits from it. I would imagine probably by the time that it's all said and done, Wonka is probably going to be the best performing film that Warner had that released in 2023. Even though for whatever reason Aquaman 2 is still making money, but we know thanks to it being settled with a ridiculous budget that's not turning a profit. No. But you know what? It still has legs. But anyways, something else that ended up performing even better than, well, it had any right to. Okay, there's a Mean Girls remake. Okay, you remember the 2004? It was Lindsay Lohan prior to her, glug glug glug, and her going absolutely crazy. I really liked the original Mean Girls. I thought it was fantastic, and heard about Tina Fey wanting to come back and revisit this idea, and it's like, why can't you do anything else? Like, I know it's like Hollywood is set in badly with the trend of doing remakes, sequels, prequels, anything but an original idea, but there's a bit of a twist to this, okay? Because the Mean Girls concept has been taken to Broadway, has been taken to the play stage, and has been reinvented as a musical, and that's what's being brought to the screen right now, which is interesting. It's very interesting. It's technically a new spin on this, but did anybody really want it? Well, it turns out the audience that wanted it really wanted it, because Mean Girls musical rules with $32 million holiday debut. It's the 4-day-long weekend. It didn't come out over Christmas, right? There's a new queen bee at the box office. Paramount's Mean Girls musical ruled with competition with $28 million over the weekend and $32 million through the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday on Monday. Thanks to the enduring love for the original 2004. It's 20 years. Holy shit, that film's 20 years old now. Anyways, the insanely quotable touchstone that turned October 3rd into a national holiday. Let's not go too far. Okay, a lot of people remember and a lot of people like the original, but come on now. And the powers of TikTok, Mean Girls is proving the plastics are still box office draws. The movie musical cost just $36 million and was initially commissioned for Paramount Plus, but enthusiastic test screenings convinced the studio to release it on the big screen, which is turning out, once again, another big Paramount W. And I'll be talking about other things and other moves that they're going to be making here into the future, where they're really positioning themselves to rise up from the Disney, Warner, Universal ashes. But them trying to merge with Warner is kind of cataclysmically stupid. But we'll see. We'll see. Internationally, Mean Girls collected $6.5 million in 16 territories, representing less than half of its planned international footprint. The film opens next weekend in the UK and New Zealand, followed by other major territories. Ticket buyers were unsurprisingly 76% female. Wow, imagine that. This is a film that I'm never going to see, given the fact that it's a musical and that the original is it's been a while since I've watched it, but it's still good enough out there, okay? Well, 60% were under the age of 25. They gave the film a mixed B+ cinema score, which is possibly because some of them didn't realize it was a musical. Yeah, the studio intentionally downplayed the song and dance aspect of the promotional materials. Yeah, check this out. Paramount shared the data that exit polls indicate that 75% of the audiences knew that it was a musical before buying a ticket. How is that suppressing if like 3/4 of the audience came out knowing that it was going to be a musical, while 16% left the theater disappointed by the genre? Oh, interesting. Oh, very interesting. But now that that's out there, I guess we'll have to see next weekend if there's like a steep drop off when it comes to returns. But $32 million debut means that, okay, for the 16% of people that walked out, this wasn't the film for them, but 76% of chicks turning out early in the year means that there's an appetite for stuff that's out there for certain audiences. Imagine that. Big shock on that one. Just the exact same way that Wonka being aimed squarely at families at a time when everything is supposed to be appealing to everybody. See the latter stages of the superhero praise. When you hone in on a certain demographic, you end up reaping the rewards of going after that demographic. Of course, it has to be good, and it has to be an acceptable premise. Wonka and Mean Girls seem to fill that void. Whereas, now we find ourselves at this point in time with the NFL playoffs in full swing. A couple of games are supposed to be happening tonight. What was it? Bills and the Steelers ended up getting postponed till tonight because of inclement weather. But you go ahead and tell that to the people that braved, -4, like 30 below temperatures at Arrowhead Stadium. It was like, okay, well, you do you. But the overemphasis, which I've detailed for whatever reason far too much on the channel in recent months, Taylor Swift becoming the centerpiece of every single NFL broadcast, it's not welcomed by the audience. Okay, Taylor Swift swag surfs in Chiefs suite with Travis Kelce's mom, Brittany Mahomes, during playoff win. Yeah, for Chiefs fans, like, you were already subject to the incessant cringe of Brittany Mahomes and also Patrick's brother, who's just a complete and total legal case. But that's neither here nor there. But now you're inundated with Taylor Swift every single time that the Chiefs do literally anything. The NFL hopes and prays that the Chiefs make it back to the Super Bowl for very obvious reasons, which is going to be a real big shame for Usher, right? Because Usher's doing the halftime show, which a lot of people were having problems with to begin with. It's like, why is he getting a halftime show? It's like, okay, cool. This would make sense if it was like the 2014 would even be pushing it, but the 2024 halftime show, Usher, really? Like, no offense, like, the guy's immensely talented, but his star has significantly waned in recent years. But if he's going to get upstaged by Taylor Swift potentially being in the audience for that, that's just going to further dampen everybody's enthusiasm for the playoffs. Because, okay, you take a look at the NFL's official post on this, Donna Kelce and friends vibing. Oh, what are they talking about here? Okay, so I've got this muted. Oh, I will have it muted on my end, but there's the cutaway. We need to make sure that we go ahead and show Taylor and stupid cringe Brittany and, Travis Kelce's mom in the skybox up there back and forth. And this is what you're getting. We literally don't care, for the love of God, on behalf of the entire NFL fan base. This is a guy, a big Rams fan, allegedly. Stop showing Taylor Swift. Thank you. This is one of the most cringe posts of all time. Make it stop. We don't care. 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 Y'all just had to post Taylor Swift without saying her name, huh? Mostly because, well, at the same time, you don't want to elicit any response from the Swifties. You just kind of want to keep them at an arm's reach, or an arm's length, rather. Hope they lose next week so the show ends. Yeah, exactly. Now you got people who were probably on the cusps of supporting a Chiefs dynasty in the 20s, but now you're just focusing too much on, somebody's cum sock. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? I understand why, and I've talked about it in a video where I broke down the economics behind this, but it's pissing everybody off, okay? No one is having a better time at a Chiefs playoff game on Saturday than Taylor Swift, the pop superstar who supported boyfriend Travis Kelce, in what was her 10th game day appearance. Oh my God, has seen swag surfing at Arrowhead Stadium suite with the tight end's mom, Donna Kelce, and new pal Brittany Mahomes, his wife of Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, as Kansas City thrash Miami Dolphins. Not the worst ass kicking of the weekend, okay? Shout out to the Dallas Cowboys. Holy fuck, what an embarrassing, man. And we are far removed from those, great 90s teams. Christ almighty, even Tony Romo won a fucking playoff game. Jesus. In the videos of the frigid Kansas City scene, Swift, 34, and the group can be seen moving in unison as the Chiefs punch their ticket to the divisional round. Who are they going to play? Not even entirely sure. And you would think that's what the NFL would be focusing on, but no. You have a legit superstar down there, and it's pissing everybody off. It is going to end up driving more people away from watching the game than anything else. Now you have people actively rooting against the Chiefs, not because they're like Raiders fans, not because, they want their team to advance in the playoffs. It's because of your guys' over focus on Taylor Swift. When it comes to her political takes, she's a pop star. What did you expect her political takes to be? Absolute dog shit is exactly what they are. Maybe she's a nice chick. I have no idea, nor do I care. But the overemphasis of the NFL, just like what happened with Bud Light, trying to focus on a different demographic, one where it's less fratty, has less out-of-touch humor. Take a look at the people that are in the stands right there. Okay, do you see a lot of Taylor Swift fans, or do you see a lot of guys who are going to go out there, brave the 20 degree below temperatures, stand out there in negative Fahrenheit weather to cheer on their team that they have been lifelong fans of, trying to attract an audience that doesn't intrinsically like football. If you want to see beginnings of the death throes of an industry, the beginnings of the problems, you can already see it plain as day over on the baseball side of things, with the Bally Sports gimmick just completely and totally dying on the vine, and people are trying to rescue it out of bankruptcy so that there can be broadcast television for a whole host of teams. You're seeing it right here. You're seeing it right here. The overemphasis on somebody who's just going to temporarily pop a rating. To see how all of this stuff plays out in the long term, take a look at what professional wrestling has been doing for a long time. Their inability to create stars, to make people actually attach with the brand, as opposed to just going, ooh, take a look. Ooh, we got a new shiny thing. Ooh, you like CM Punk? Well, nobody turns out. They'll just watch the clips online, and that's what you're going to be getting right here. The overemphasis on Taylor Swift is driving people away from their televisions, but it's driving all of the Swifties onto social media. But guess what? You can't eat your fucking phones, and you're eventually going to have to pay these fuckers. You continue to dance with the devil. But when you start to look around and go, hey, where'd all the cash go? Oh, look at that. Broadcast television is dying all the way around us. And oh, we're driving off our audience. And the only people that we now have on social media are ravenous for us to show the person that killed our platform. Oh no. Yeah, you're caught. Caught in a spiral as one of your own creation. Learn from Wonka, learn from Mean Girls, learn for all the wrong reasons as to what the NFL is doing. If you wanna create quality entertainment, create quality products in 2024. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.